You ever get that feeling that everything is just moving way too fast? Well, you're not wrong, and nowhere is that more true than in the world of artificial intelligence. We're not just talking about another tech wave here. This is a tsunami, a wave of change that's reshaping our world at a speed that is, and I don't say this lightly, completely unprecedented. Okay, let's get into it.
So, way back in 1999, Vint Cerf, one of the literal fathers of the internet, gave us this perfect way to think about the crazy speed of the web, a dog year. For decades, that was our benchmark, our gold standard for moving ridiculously fast. But here's the thing. What we're seeing with AI right now, it completely blows that idea out of the water.
Because the simple truth is, this isn't just a little bit faster. This is a different kind of fast. It's a fundamental acceleration with a momentum all its own. The machines aren't just playing catch-up anymore. They're starting to set a pace we're all scrambling to keep up with.
And if you want to see what that looks like, this chart says it all. I mean, look at this. Instagram, a phenomenon, took 2.5 years to hit 100 million users. TikTok, the king of viral content, did it in less than a year. ChatGPT, it did it in about 2 months. That's not a dog year. That's something else entirely. That's AI time.
This kind of speed, this scale, it all points to one thing. We are living through a tech wave that is fundamentally different from anything that came before it. The PC, the internet, even the mobile revolution. This one is bigger.
Now, look, the idea of AI has been around forever. We've had these slow and steady milestones for decades, right? From the Turing test in the 50s all the way to Deep Blue beating a chess master in 97. It was academic, it was methodical, and then, bam. ChatGPT lands in 2022, and it's like someone hit the fast-forward button on the future. That was the inflection point.
So, what is pouring gasoline on this fire? What's the engine that's driving this tsunami forward? Well, it really comes down to two main ingredients: an absolutely mind-boggling amount of money and a massive surge in human talent.
First, let's talk about the cash. The 6 biggest tech companies in the US are on track to spend over $200 billion on capital projects in 2024 alone, and most of that is going towards building out AI infrastructure. This isn't just an investment. This is an all-in, bet-the-farm moment on the future of intelligence.
And it's not just a single huge number. It's the trend that's really staggering. This spending is up 63% in 1 year. That's the kind of spending curve you see during an industrial revolution. And as NVIDIA CEO put it, these new data centers, they're not just data centers anymore. They are AI factories.
And then you have the people, 6 million developers. That's how many are now building on NVIDIA's platform, the chips that are powering this whole thing. That's a 6-fold increase in just 7 years. It's like a global army of builders has been mobilized almost overnight. But all of this insane growth is creating this fascinating economic tension, a paradox that really gets to the heart of the entire AI boom. It's a tale of two cost curves going in completely opposite directions.
So on one hand, the cost to actually train the biggest and best AI models is just skyrocketing. We're talking billions of dollars. But on the other hand, the cost for you and me to actually use those models, what the industry calls inference, is plummeting. It's down nearly 99.7% in just a couple of years. So it's getting way more expensive to build, but radically cheaper to use. That creates a huge barrier for new players at the top, but it unleashes a wave of creativity for everyone else.
And believe me, those training costs are only going up. Dario Amodeo, who runs Anthropic, thinks that by 2025, we could see companies starting to train single AI models that cost $10 billion. That's more than the entire GDP of dozens of countries for one model. It's just wild.
And you can see this paradox playing out right now with OpenAI. Yeah, they're making billions in revenue, which is amazing. But look at their compute expenses. Just the cost to keep the lights on and the models running. It's even higher. They are burning cash at an incredible rate, because in this new world, that's the price of staying on the frontier.
So when you have an environment with stakes this high, what do you get? You get a fierce, global race for AI dominance. This isn't just about competing companies anymore. This is a battle that could genuinely reshape the global balance of power.
And this race is being fought on 3 main fronts. You've got the established tech giants going up against the small, nimble challengers. You've got the whole philosophical war between proprietary, closed-source models and the open-source movement. And then the big one, the massive geopolitical showdown between the United States and China.
Right now, if you just look at what regular people are using on their computers, the closed-source models from the big guys are winning.
hands down. OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, they've got the lion's share of the market. They have the brand, they have the distribution, and they can reach billions of people. But on that geopolitical front, the story is changing, and it's changing fast. While the US definitely had an early lead in building these huge AI systems, just look at China's trajectory. They are accelerating their development at an unbelievable rate. They are closing the gap, and in some cases, they're trying to leapfrog ahead entirely. And when you look at the physical world, at the hardware, the robotics that AI is going to power, well, China is already a dominant force. They have more industrial robots installed than the United States and the rest of the world combined. That is a massive advantage as AI moves out of our computers and into our factories, our cars, and our homes. All of which brings us to the biggest question of all. What's next? Where is this tsunami actually taking us? How is it going to change our jobs, our lives, and maybe even our definition of what it means to be intelligent? The impact is already here, and it is profound. Just look at the IT job market. From 2018 to 2025, job postings for traditional non-AI tech roles have actually gone down by 9%. But postings for jobs that require AI skills, they've skyrocketed by almost 450%. This isn't just a trend. This is a tectonic shift in the skills our economy values. For a lot of researchers in this field, the ultimate destination is something called artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And this is not just a smarter chatbot. AGI is the idea of an AI that can perform the whole range of human intellectual tasks. It's the point where machine intelligence becomes just as flexible, just as creative, and just as general purpose as our own.
And getting to that point presents us with, well, a pretty powerful choice. The promise is almost utopian. We could use this intelligence to accelerate science, cure diseases, solve climate change, but the risk is just as big and just as real. We're talking about everything from autonomous weapons to mass surveillance.
You know, the late, great Stephen Hawking really nailed this tension perfectly. He said, success in creating AI could be the biggest event in the history of our civilization, but it could also be the last. The stakes just could not be higher.
So, as this technology keeps accelerating, the question for all of us is pretty clear. The AI tsunami isn't coming, it's here. The forces behind it are enormous, and they're not stopping. The only real question is, are we going to learn how to build the tools, the systems, and the wisdom to ride this incredible wave, or are we going to get swept away by a tide of our own creation? That choice is up to us.